What are the implications of this unique moment where we have all four of these firing at the same time for the first time? We've obviously seen all of them in silo happen before, as you mentioned, but yeah, what's the constraints on this? What are the implications? What's your forecast from here?
So let me frame it for you this way. We have fiat money, right, which enables the whole thing to happen. The fiat money is enabling fiscal dominance. Fiscal dominance is producing a massive amount of cash and spending into the economy that keeps things going. This cash and bonds, and debt needs somewhere to go. That's where the financial repression and passive frameworks step in. All of this stuff comes together, starts coalescing, and we end up with something that I'm calling the stock market economy. Okay? You and I are young guys, our entire investment careers, we have been told that the stock market and the economy are two different things. Okay? That's not true anymore, in my opinion. I think that instantaneously, the stock market is the economy and vice versa. I think that the degree of financialization in the economy is such that these two ideas are now completely intertwined. This is also leading to something that I think is emerging now, which is this idea of the stock market as a utility. The same way that electricity is a utility and the same way that your water is a utility, the nation's financial wealth is now being turned into a utility. One of the ways that we can see this happening is, for example, if you go back to 1980s and like 30% of households had some sort of investment in the market at that point in time, and we're now up past 60%, I believe it is now, latest numbers, right? So we've seen this massive growth, this massive distribution in the shared ownership of the nation's capital. Now let's add to this idea and say that every single baby born is now going to get a $1,000 investment in the S&P 500. Okay, so I mean, not only is this kind of echoing the passive idea, but now we are expanding the ownership of the market. We're making market ownership almost ubiquitous. So that is to suggest that within a generation or two, we might see this kind of like ubiquitous ownership of the nation's wealth. It only takes a half step from there to suggest that you could do something with that wealth in terms of making it produce an income for everybody as well. Not only does this some sort of like net worth idea, but what if we use this to turn on some sort of income from everybody? So no, this isn't like free UBI money, right? But let's say that the government, who just recently bought some Intel, maybe next buys some Mag 7 or some other companies, and all of a sudden they start redistributing income and they send it to everybody who owns a share of this national wealth. That is something that you would need if you were going to enter an AI economy where all of a sudden labor is kind of becoming unnecessary, right? Like if you're going to take a whole bunch of people off work, but you still want to make sure that that money is flowing through an economy, well, then you need to give people money somehow. Well, maybe this is one way that happens, right? And so you're kind of beginning now to set up the platform from which an AI economy can bloom.